Resident Evil 9 Requiem was revealed with the old bait and switch at Summer Game Fest, and guess what? This guy played it.
Please know that you are my hope.
Everyone's gone.
Resident Evil. It's even better because I have a sick voice, so I can really get like, Resident Evil Requiem. Okay, now from the top, there are a number of questions surrounding this Resident Evil 9, and I'm gonna get the most important one out of the way, which I'm sure all of you are gonna be asking, and that is it third or first person? And well, the answer is whatever you choose. It's both, as in it's either. You can actually, from any point in the game, go into the pause menu and change it from first to third. But here's the interesting bit. First person is still the recommended way to play this. If you go to the options menu under first person, it says recommended. So I'm assuming that is going to be the default way, but still, that doesn't mean I, went in and tried to look at it in third person. And guess what? It looks good. It's not like Village, where Village shoved third person into it far after its release for a game that was absolutely designed 100% in third person. So when you play Village in third person, the camera doesn't quite turn all the way, so because they want to still obstruct Ethan Winter's face. That's not the case here. In this game, third person feels like all the remakes that were third person, 2, 3, and 4. So it feels good. The other question is, how much of it did I play? Not that much. Like 20 minutes. That's all I was allowed. Just 30 minutes. I completed in 20. If I was allowed to play the demo again, if I had enough time, I would have tested out both perspectives, but in this case, I did first person only, with the exception of like a minute in third. But I did first person because it's clearly, it said it was recommended, so therefore I was gonna do it recommended. So just get that out of the way. Now, having played 20 minutes, I still can't answer many questions that are surrounding this game. And if anything, I think that's kind of a play on Capcom because when they introduced this game, they did not introduce it as Resident Evil 9. Jeff Keighley was all like, this is from an independent studio that have a background and narrative, and here's the good look at their game, and then joke's on you, it's actually Resident Evil 9. Is there a creature above us? In the trailer, they revealed the character Grace Ashcroft, which for those nerds of the Resident Evil verse would know that that is a related name to a character that was in Resident Evil Outbreak. Now, this Grace character, who is a technical analyst at the FBI, it says that her mother died in a hotel. In the hands-on, I played as the new protagonist, but I'm not gonna fall for it. I don't know if she's the main one. I'm not buying that she's the only one in this game, and I have a reason for that, which I'll get to later. But nonetheless, I played as Grace. And in fact, the part that I played, I have a suspicion is quite early in the game, and in fact, you can even see parts of it in the trailer reveal, specifically where she's strapped upside down in the gurney. That's how the thing opens.
What is this?
Once Grace gets herself out of it, the whole 20-minute demo kind of plays more like House of Beneviento. Now, this is interesting because Keighley and Capcom both said that this is going to be a new move for the franchise, but this part in particular didn't actually seem all that new to me. Some things here and there, but let me explain. If you're familiar with Resident Evil Village, there's a section of that game that takes place in the House of Beneviento, which is you have no weapons and you're basically hiding from a giant, beautiful baby fetus. It's laughing, it's gurgling, it's coming for you. It's great. It's not, it's terrifying. But this scene kind of reminded me a lot of that. So as Grace, you're sneaking around this rather quaint hospital-like environment. And I say that because it doesn't really feel like a traditional hospital. There's nice wallpaper, for example. You don't really get that in hospitals. It feels more like it's intended for children or maybe like a family. It's like as though maybe this will be in a family sort of hospital. As you go through these halls in the darkness, you eventually find, there's areas you cannot get to because it is so dark until you eventually find a lighter. And something that's important to point out is that all the light switches are interactable. So you can turn on the lights on and off in the rooms, you can turn on lamps on and off in the rooms, which is usually not a sense of interactivity that you see in Resident Evil games. And eventually, all I can say is that a big-eyed, beautiful lady comes and starts to follow you around, and she's definitely not looking for a hug. This thing is terrifying, and it is very much an extension of what House of Beneviento did, but instead of a baby, cute baby little fetus, it's a big lady. And not like the Dimitrescu lady, quite the antithesis. They're still big, still tall ladies. Resident Evil has a new thing for tall ladies. I don't think this one is gonna have the same step on me sort of cultural impact that Dimitrescu did. I'm not shaming, by the way. If somebody sees this one as like, she can step on me all day, all the more power to you. Just wait till you see it. Nonetheless, this part is terrifying, and I would say this is basically Requiem's, Resident Evil 9's equivalent to Mr. Lady Dimitrescu, the nemesis, the thing that's gonna be chasing you around. However, it's unclear whether or not this is most of the game. I asked during my time with it, and they didn't really have an answer for me. So that's why I kind of become suspicious, because House of Beneviento is about halfway through Village. I suspect this is very, very early in the game. From there on, it was quite straightforward. It was kind of a deja vu moment for me, where I felt as though while this environment was new, this character was new, and this creature was new, I felt as though I had been here before. I had played this scene, which is why I keep mentioning, probably ad nauseum, House of Beneviento, because that is exactly what it felt like. And there was only very small things to pick up on here and there, like obviously light has something to do with it because you can turn on and off lights. Additionally, you have a lighter, so that kind of brings this sort of survival horror element even more intimately in a way that I have not seen in the previous Resident Evil games, where you have to, like, you can't even access certain things in the environment without your lighter on. So even if you're in a dark area and you can kind of see that there's like a dead body covering a cabinet door, you can't actually interact with that thing until you have your lighter on to show what you are interacting with. So there is gonna be some play there. All I know is that they said that this is gonna be a new departure for the franchise, and I didn't really get to see how that is the case from this small sliver. And that's really all I can tell you. Like, that's really all I saw. There was some spooky stuff, there was a big-eyed lady. From this point on, it's only speculation. Now, I alluded to this earlier that Grace may not be the only protagonist because the director of this game directed a few other Resident Evils, specifically Resident Evil 7, but before that, he did Resident Evil Revelations, which has multiple protagonists. So that leads me to believe that there is the chance that you are not only gonna be playing as Grace. After all, they did say that there's gonna be blockbuster action in this, and considering that Clara is just an FBI technical analyst who doesn't need to go through the same field training as other FBI agents, I don't really know like what her gunslinging capabilities are like in that way, unless you got Leon Kennedy in there. Who knows? Who knows? Another thing that makes me kind of speculate that this is gonna be, that there's a lot more going on here than what they showed from other than the obvious bait and switch that they did. I feel like that is going to be a theme for the rest of this game. If they're gonna use the reveal of this game as like, gotcha, how many other gotchas do they have lined up in this game? It's also 30 years of Resident Evil. Think about that. And this is coming out when Resident Evil turns 30. They're also taking the franchise back, supposedly based on the trailer, to Raccoon City, which has been bombed and quarantined off for a very long time. And I can only imagine that what better way to set up a cool, interesting 30 years than going back to where it all started in Resident Evil. Okay. All that being said, I wish I could tell you more. I wish I could answer more questions, but simply, all I got is that it's third and first person. It looks like you're going back to Raccoon City. I couldn't tell from what I played in that thing, and that something is going to be chasing you, but I don't know at the effect of how that will last through the game. I will say from my brief hands-on time, I'm not really surprised from anything I played, nor am I underwhelmed, but simply unfazed. I just don't think there's enough for me to chew on here to really know where the series is going. I don't even think there's enough for me to say whether or not I liked it, because there was kind of this deja vu syndrome that happened while I was playing it. And we'll have to wait till February to find out more. So, Maybe Lady Dimitrescu and like big-eyed lady will kiss at some point. And Mr. X will be watching from a distance with his popcorn. Hats off to you, ladies. That's what he'll say. Okay.